If there were ever a book written by a seasoned overachiever who got tired of the noise, stress, and performative hustle of modern life, it's just the good stuff. Jim VandeHei, co-founder of Axios and Politico, isn't handing you another fluffy, live your best life pep talk. No, this is a boots-on-the-ground, sleeves rolled up, truth-teller's guide to cutting through the crap and focusing on what really matters. In a world drowning in content, crisis, and clickbait, just the good stuff is exactly what it says on the label: clear, simple, hard-earned wisdom from someone who's been in the trenches of politics, media, business, and family life, and came out the other side craving less chaos and more clarity. The book is short, snappy, addictively readable, but don't mistake brevity for superficiality. This is the distilled essence of a life well examined. Think of it as your smart, slightly type A friend taking you for a walk, slapping some sense into you, then handing you a glass of wine afterward and saying, "Let's not waste any more time. Work smarter, not angrier." The professional reset we all need. VandeHei's advice for work is less about crushing it and more about clarifying it. He challenges the toxic productivity myth head-on. Hustle culture? That hamster wheel of performative busyness? Yeah, he's over it. And he wants you to be, too. He believes great work starts with great focus. That means saying no more often than yes, doing fewer things, but doing them damn well, and surrounding yourself with people who elevate your brain, not drain your soul. One of his most repeated mantras is, "Focus is a superpower." He treats attention like gold, rare, precious, and not to be squandered on emails that don't matter or meetings that should have been canceled. VandeHei lays out his own methods for clarity. He blocks his calendar, carves out thinking time, and plans ruthlessly. Not to be rigid, but to stay sane. He doesn't glorify 18-hour workdays. He champions deep work where your brain is fully present, doing things that matter, whether that's a strategic decision, a pitch, or mentoring your team. He also tells the truth about toxic workplaces. If you're surrounded by people who thrive on drama, ego, and office politics, run. Life's too short to spend your days tiptoeing around emotional toddlers in suits. VandeHei's bottom line? You're not here to impress. You're here to build, create, and contribute. Family first, for real this time. Here's where the book really gets tender. For all his success, VandeHei's greatest pride isn't his media empire. It's his family. And he doesn't just say family matters in a hallmark way. He builds his life around it. His rule? Be home for dinner. Simple, powerful, non-negotiable. Because the world will take every bit of your time and attention if you let it. But your kids, your spouse, your people, they just want you, present, laughing, listening, not checking Slack between bites of salad. He shares his own struggles, moments when he let work creep too far in, when stress made him short-tempered, or when he forgot to show up with the same intentionality at home as he did at work. But rather than wallow, he recalibrated. His advice is refreshingly guilt-free. He doesn't say you need to quit your job and homeschool your kids while baking sourdough. He says be deliberate, make eye contact, say I love you more often. Plan your life around your values, not your inbox. And perhaps most powerfully, treat your family like your most important client. Because they are. And when your relationships are thriving, everything else gets easier. The magic of mindset. Choose your frame. One of the strongest through lines in just the good stuff is the idea that how you see the world shapes your world. VandeHei doesn't mean this in a woo-woo, manifest your yacht kind of way. He means that when you decide to frame life through gratitude, curiosity, and action, your experience of it transforms. Bad days? They still happen. But if you train your brain to look for progress, to laugh when things get weird, and to find the lesson instead of the complaint, you win. Every time. He shares his personal reframes, like choosing to see stress as a signal, not a flaw, or viewing problems at work as puzzles to be solved, not evidence of failure, or reminding himself that most things aren't a big deal in the long run, even if they feel urgent now. VandeHei is blunt. You control your response. Always. You don't control what happens, but your frame, how you interpret what happens. That's your secret weapon. And it can be the difference between burnout and resilience, between bitterness and peace, relationships over resumes, Success, according to VandeHei, isn't about how many titles you rack up or followers you gain. It's about who you do life with. It's about connection, depth, trust, loyalty, the ride-or-die friends who show up when things fall apart and cheer the loudest when they don't. He urges readers to build a core crew, your chosen family, and not just gather them like Pokemon, but nurture them, call them, surprise them, thank them, make the relationship richer than the algorithmic friendships of Instagram. At work, this translates into building teams where people feel safe, seen, and heard. VandeHei leads with honesty, vulnerability, and an almost obsessive dedication to clarity. He wants everyone on his team to know what matters, what success looks like, and how their work fits into the bigger picture. This isn't just leadership fluff, it's strategy. Because when people trust you and know where they're going, they bring their whole selves. And that's when the real magic happens. Cut the noise, turn up the good stuff. VandeHei's media roots shine in how he talks about information. His verdict: we are drowning in noise. Doom scrolling, outrage cycles, performative politics, it's exhausting. It numbs us, it distracts us, and worst of all, it steals our focus from what actually matters. So his advice? Curate your input, ruthlessly. He unfollowed rage-inducing accounts, set time limits for social media, and became very picky about what enters his brain. Why? Because our thoughts are shaped by what we consume. And if you fill your head with junk, guess what your output becomes? He doesn't say, be uninformed. He says, be intentionally informed. Choose truth over drama. Choose learning over yelling. Choose creators and journalists and thinkers who make you smarter, not angrier. And then, make space for silence, for thinking, for dreaming, for just being. Because the good stuff, it's often quiet. It doesn't trend, but it's what makes life rich. Health isn't a side hustle. Here's something refreshing. VandeHei talks about health not like a fitness influencer, but like a guy who realized you can't do anything well if your body and mind are falling apart. He's not selling six-packs or green powders. He's saying, sleep matters. Movement matters. What you eat, what you drink, how often you unplug. All of it either fills your tank or drains it. He shares his own wake-up calls, like letting work stress derail his health habits, or using alcohol to take the edge off tough days. And then he shares his shifts, cutting back, slowing down, creating sustainable routines that support, not sabotage, his bigger goals. He encourages readers to make health a priority, not an afterthought, because no success is worth it if you're too burned out, sick, or miserable to enjoy it. Don't be a jerk. Leadership the Human Way. One of the funniest and most valuable parts of the book is VandeHei's guide to not being a jerk in leadership. You can be smart, driven, and effective and still treat people well. Shocking, right? He rejects the old-school tough guy boss archetype and instead champions kind, clear, accountable leadership. That means saying the hard thing when needed, but never with cruelty. It means owning your mistakes. It means giving credit, not stealing it. And it means managing with radical clarity. Vague goals? Unspoken frustrations? Confusing expectations? All of that creates dysfunction. But when people know what's expected, what success looks like, and how they're doing, they thrive. Oh, and micromanaging? He hates it. Trust your people or let them go. Simple as that. You're gonna die, so use your days wisely. Morbid? Maybe. But VandeHei doesn't shy away from the truth. We get one shot, one life, one body, one ride around the sun. So why spend it angry, distracted, chasing someone else's definition of success? Why waste it in a job you hate or a relationship that depletes you? Why let fear make your decisions? He urges readers to live with urgency, not anxiety, to dream boldly, but act practically, to stop waiting for someday and start crafting the life they want, right now, today, in the messy, imperfect, wonderful middle of things. Because when you zoom out, the big stuff gets simple. Be kind, love deeply, work on things that matter, take care of your soul, and say no to the noise so you can say yes to what's real. Final thoughts. A pocket guide to a life that feels right. Just the good stuff isn't a life hack manual. It's a compass, a reminder, a gut check. It's the kind of book you'll dog-ear, quote at dinner parties, and return to when life feels messy again. Not because it promises to fix everything, but because it reminds you of the stuff that's always been true, that less really is more, that love beats status, that clarity is kindness, and that the good stuff is not out there, it's right here. In your relationships, your focus, your body, your breath, your quiet little moments of, this feels right. Jim VandeHei doesn't yell at you to change your life. He gently nudges you to return to it, to design it with intention, to live it fully, not perfectly, but meaningfully.